Hi, I'm Ronnie, and in this video I will show you how to propagate trees, especially fig trees, using a common hydroponic system. A few years ago I bought a group of fig trees and I bound them together with the idea to make one single tree, and this was the resulting tree, and I'm really happy with this tree. I was so happy with this tree that I decided I would do it again, and this is the resulting tree. I have a video of how this tree was made and I will place a link to it in the description below. These trees are kept in a vivarium at very high humidity, 80%, and at temperatures between 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. The result is that they grow really well. They form a lot of these air roots, but they also make a lot of leaders and shoots that needs to be cut back quite often. Recently, I cut back both these trees quite severely, and the top part of the tree that was removed looked really nice. And I wanted to keep it, and I decided that I'm going to try an experiment and place them in a hydroponic system that I have in the basement below. So I did it, and it worked much better than I expected. They rooted really well. In fact, they rooted so well that they are starting to clog the runoffs, so I need to remove them, and I will show you how I repot them in this video. I also placed a Chinese elm and a tea tree in the hydroponic system to see if they would root, and while they did root, they are not as vigorous as the fig trees. I think fig trees can grow in a hydroponic system completely without any support from any soil or any other media. I will repot all of these trees and then I will place them in a vivarium. I will give updates as the growth of these trees progress. And with that, it's on to repotting some trees. This is the hydroponic system and I'm really pleased with how it works. I will place a link in the description below of where I show how it was built if you want to build your own or just want to see how something like this is made. The lights are height adjustable. So as the plants grow, I can just move them up to give them a bit more space. But in this video, I will talk mostly about the trees. Here are the two fig trees that I will be repotting, and behind them are the two other trees that I will remove. With everything repotted, this is how it looks, and I'm quite happy with how these small trees turned out. I use normal potting soil for smaller trees and especially fig trees. I think that's fine. For the larger ones, I use a bit of a different mixture, but potting soil is fine for the small trees. They need a lot of moisture, and fig trees, as we can see, love water, so they will be just fine. I will move all these trees back into the vivarium, and I will leave these trees alone for probably a year, maybe even 2 years before I would think about repotting them. I might trim them back a bit if they get out of hand, because they might do. The larger trees I will trim during the summer, and I will give an update on them either this summer or maybe next summer, depending on how they develop. This tree needs to be repotted reasonably soon, and it doesn't really matter when I repot these trees. They are in a controlled environment throughout the year, so it would be just fine if I want to do it in the next month or even in the middle of summer. The smaller trees will take many years to develop into something that's nice, but I will keep them, or I will swap them, or I will just give them to someone at some stage, but we'll see how they develop. If you're still watching, please consider subscribing to get more of this type of content. It really helps a lot. And leave me a comment on which of these two trees you think is the nicest, or which of these two trees you think is the nicest. And with that, I can say thank you for watching and see you in the next one. Cheers! So a few weeks have passed and the small trees are settling in quite nice. They are growing loads of small new leaves. The older trees, of course, also are growing a lot of new leaves. The vivarium is really good for these trees. Here is the largest fig tree, and it again, of course, needs a bit of a trim, which I probably will do in a week or 2 weeks' time. All of them have started to make more new small air roots, so they are doing really well. I fertilized them as well, and I will now put them back in the vivarium where they will remain for probably forever, and I will keep trimming them and growing them. And then once these trees are slightly bigger, I will probably shape them a bit more aggressively. But for now, that is it. It's a small update, and I will probably give an update on these trees a bit later on in the year as well.